What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActiveMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today I'm doing Cobra Kai Season 6, Episode 3. This is on Netflix and it still has audio description. Good, because that would be weird if they just stopped describing mid-season. But, yeah, I know the season's been out. I said when I did the first video, I was like, I'm breaking this down. I'll binge watch a lot of stuff for you guys, but occasionally there are shows that I actually really enjoy taking a beat in between each episode. And Cobra Kai is one of them. It's like, this is the final season, and I only have 5 episodes, and then we have another part 2 coming that I'm assuming will be 5 episodes, and then part 3, which I'm assuming will be 5 episodes. So it's just like, let's just space it out. And then there's a movie, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so I have a purple hat on backwards. I've got black sunglasses, and I'm wearing a Green Lantern shirt today. So for today's Cobra Kai, it's much like a three-pronged structure, just like the last episode. We sort of open up with this gag that sort of makes fun of the gender reveal party thing, where Johnny's having a gender reveal party, and Daniel's there, and basically everybody like of note that would be there between those two families. And this little package shows up, and it's ticking on the inside. And they think it's a bomb, and they think it's Kreese. And they're like, oh my God, there's a bomb, what do we do with it? And like, Johnny's referencing like 80s movies. Like, that's how he learned how to defuse bombs, is through 80s movies. And lo and behold, it turns out to be the package, which explodes and sends pink paint all over them. And Carmen's like, oh, it came early. And I was like, you wanted pink paint sprayed everywhere all over your house? Shouldn't this be like an outdoors activity? Like, why was... Anyway, people. So that's not really like part one of the three prongs. So what we do have, once we get past that, once we get past the, oh my God, Jenny's gonna have a daughter moment, we have Kreese, who is still up to shenanigans in the I don't care land. I don't care in this storyline. He's just doing the same stuff. He somehow managed to immigrate to another country. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just, like, he vanishes from jail, and now he's like, he crossed an ocean to get to wherever this kid is. And it's just like, and this little like training fortress thing, so that he can train this kid for the Seiko Tai championship. And you can already tell, like, there's one kid who's the star, right? Because he's angry, and he's a problematic person, and he needs to be taught a lesson. And I'm just like, God, I hate this. This is so stupid. Can't we give Kreese, like, can we buck the trend on Kreese just a little bit and give him like maybe he's on the run and he finds like a family and some kid. Like, I'll pull something out. And I do this a lot because I'm very familiar with The Walking Dead. So anybody who watched me for any length of time knows I'm going to mention The Walking Dead at some point pretty frequently in the video watching. So what they did with the governor, you know what I'm saying? Like, the governor's a douchebag, he's an asshole, and then they made him somewhat relatable by, he was off on his own, and he found his family, and for a while there, like, things were looking good. And I feel like Kreese could have had that. I feel like Kreese could have had that moment where he was all alone, he was running, and maybe he found some kid, some family, some kid who needed to be taught karate, and then he spent this whole season training up this one kid, and somehow that kid qualifies for the Seiko Tai thing, and it's some kid who life has counted out every single step of the way, much like Robbie and Miguel have, but it goes to show, instead of Johnny, who sort of came from privilege a little bit more, I think, um, or at least acted like it in the first film, certainly didn't act poor. So instead of catering to somebody like that, taking some misbegotten youth, but then also, I don't know, maybe shifting his personality a little bit in the process, just doing something unpredictable instead of being like, oh yes, we are evil and John Kreese is here now to train you. It's like, I think that lady was probably doing a really good job already. She seems like she could probably murder you, but I guess this really old white dude is gonna mentor you in the ways of fuck me. So yeah, this is dumb. They're not even trying to do anything interesting with John Kreese this time around. It's just like, well, he needs something to do. Anyway, uh, so plot two revolves around Johnny, seeing that Samantha and Tori are now weak because they're friends and they don't want to like throw hard punches. They don't want to get into it anymore. And he's like, well, this sucks because there are two best players, female fighters, which I'm sure is something that the third one, Devin, that keeps showing up, is probably like, I am the third one, aren't I? Like, let's be honest. End of Cobra Kai, the female champion will not be Devin. It's not going to be Devin. I'm sorry, Devin, it's not you. So, I know there are very limited female contenders on the show. It will be one of those two girls. It will not be Devin. Um, so yeah, he has to get the fire back in, and Devin sort of helps, and he has all these dumb ways of trying to pit them against each other and get them to fight, and they're not really interested in doing that anymore. They're pretty chill, pretty cool with each other, but then something happens a little bit, and they finally get to have an argument, and they work shit out on their own, and then they like Johnny's really excited because he's like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, they're getting anger. They're gonna hate each other. They're gonna be able to fight. And then they like kind of just apologize and they come to an understanding. And it's like, man, these characters have grown a lot. But it ended up working out because after the fact, they were able to throw punches. So whatever happened, whatever situation they needed to, and Devin's like, never let me question your ways again, Sensei. And he's like, yeah. His ways were dumb. First of all, those two boys would have noticed their cell phones are missing, like, immediately. Like, trying to take away a teenager's cell phone for any length of time, more than, like, 5 minutes. Like, if they're in the bathroom, maybe. You know what I'm saying? They probably have their phone in the bathroom. But, yeah, I don't think that both Miguel and I don't think they would have noticed if their phones were missing. Anyway, that's done. We're done with that. That's the third, possibly the one that feels like it's being introduced for a reason to build some sort of plot. And here's what I'll say about that. So the third thing is that Daniel and Chosen, Daniel gives Chosen Miyagi space, like where he used to live, since Chosen has decided to hang out a little bit more, and he's trying to get him out of his pool house. Anyway, and Amanda seems to be like, guy comes here from Japan to kill Silver and stays for 3 months. She makes some joke about it. But so he's gonna have a little bit of his own place that's not necessarily in their backyard. And when they're looking through some stuff and moving stuff around, they suddenly notice that there's this hatch under the bed where Mr. Miyagi stores like memorabilia. I'm surprised that like after 3 movies and Daniel, I guess, owning this building for like an extended period of time, that he hasn't noticed that there's this giant hatch under the bed. He's just, I guess, if I was chosen, I would be really concerned about like what other things live in that room because he's clearly never been in that room before. Um, but anyway, they find the hatch and they open it, and there's this little box, and it's a treasure box, and they open it, and it's got some stuff in it, and they're like, "Wow, this questions," and it leads to a gym down the street, and they go to the gym and they chase some dude out of it, and
Update complete.
my update's complete, and they beat him, sort of, but he thinks they're cops, and anyway, what it leads to is this thing that like Miyagi may not have started out this quiet, patient person, and he needed to flee the country at one point. Now, this is all really stupid. This is all functionally stupid and would never have been needed if we didn't have Cobra Kai. And then also if Netflix wasn't like, you know what, we need to do a Cobra Kai movie. But how do we do a Cobra Kai movie and get people interested in it? Oh shit, we bring in Jackie Chan from the Karate Kid movie with Jaden Smith, which is what they're doing. So they're finding a way to connect Miyagi to a place so that Jackie Chan, whose character was named Miyagi, in that remake, which was what it was at the time, that remake of the Karate Kid, so that Jackie Chan can come into the movie, which is what he will be doing. So for anybody who's watching this episode and being like, oh, I have no idea what this is, what's going on here, I feel like this is very leading into eventually the movie. They had a little bit of time during this episode to drop some knowledge, basically, and connect it so that way when Jackie Chan shows up with the last name of Miyagi and Daniel's like, what? He's already sort of explored the possibility. You know, Mr. Miyagi never told me he had a son, because obviously he'd have to be, because I mean generationally, you know, he can't be Miyagi's brother. Nobody would look at Pat Morita, who's been dead for a while, and Jackie Chan would be like brothers. I mean, like, at best, Jackie Chan could maybe be the nephew of Miyagi, but anyway. So, yes, we're getting to the Jackie Chan storyline. I don't know that he's going to pop up in Cobra Kai. I'm a little disappointed that they haven't addressed Hilary Swank, because she's up for anything, man. She was just in, like, Ordinary Angels. She's already done shows for Netflix, and she did one for ABC. Like, she's just a phone call away. And she will be the next Karate Kid for you if you just, all you have to do is ask. If you call her name, she will take you there. The midnight hour. Anyway, so that's Cobra Kai this week. In that regard, it ends on the note of the fact that while everybody's excited to go to Barcelona, it turns out only 6 of them will get to go. Now, I've already started doing the math, and there's some fuckery here. First of all, they didn't actually say 3 boys and 3 girls. So, does Devin need to go? I mean, like, I guess from, like, an equality standpoint, you would send 3 girls, but it's kind of unfair because there are only 3 girls. that are like eligible main characters, and that kind of just defaults them. Whereas with the boys, legitimately, you have a strong case for who should go, and then you have 2 characters that are like question marks. Like, I feel like the 3 boys have to be Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk. But they just went out of their way to bring in Kenny and be like, you deserve a spot at that championship. They have Anthony, who's training. They have Eli, who, whatever the other kid's name is, Dimitri, or I can't remember. What is Hawk's real name and the other kid's name? The other kid, Hawk's friend. They have those 3 kids who all could take a spot, but I think pretty much at this point, if you're downstream of that, if you're another character that's below that, sucks to suck, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's just I don't see anybody other than I think those six boys are in contention for boy spots. How it ends up and who ends up going, that's a question because I could see somebody stepping aside and because at the end of the day, when you throw those three in, it's still going to be tough for one boy to emerge. But at least of those three boys, I feel like those are the three stories we've been engaged with the most. I don't know that audiences will care that much if Kenny goes. You know what I'm saying? He's been here for a hot minute. He was kind of a dick, like, but I could totally see Robbie giving up his spot for Kenny and being like, nah, no, I'm not going to go. Kenny can go in my spot. And then Robbie just doesn't go. I could see Miguel giving up his spot, because he's about like, he's college focused or whatever. So they could write any of those characters into giving up their spot to one of the second tier that I listed. I think Anthony's probably in sixth place because he just haven't spent that much time on him karate wise. Like he's there and he's learning it, but he's not necessarily like to be a top 3 contender. They're going to have to do a lot with him story wise. So those would be the ones I would assume. But again, the question is, does it have to be 3 girls? Because the announcement didn't say 3 boys, 3 girls. So does Devin get a spot? Because if not, that's an easy way to bring a 4th boy who has more screen time. Devin just kind of popped up. And she has a moderate amount of screen time, around the same as the other boys. But really, Hawk's friend should get to go. The other one. Like, they're part of the OG group. They didn't come along in a later season and start picking up karate later. Like, the ones that should go are Samantha, Tori, Robbie, Miguel, Hawk, and Eli, Dimitri, whatever his name, whatever's not Hawk's real name. The fact that I know what Hawk's real name is really confusing me with the other kid, and I'm just being honest about it. So I know what his name is. I keep calling him Eli or Dimitri depending on the situation, and it's like I know what character it is, and it's just pissing me off because I know that the other one is just Hawk's real name. I think his name is Dimitri. I think it's Dimitri, and Eli is Hawk. That would be my final answer on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is that the name is Dimitri and it's Eli is what Hawk's name is. So, yes, I think Dimitri should get the spot over Devin. Yes, I would go with 4 boys and 2 girls because that is what supports the structure of Cobra Kai, the series. If we're going to finish on a bang, if we're going to finish on a final note, you send the primary characters first. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.